Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Future of Wireless. Today, we're going to be talking with Kevin Haller. He's the Director of Business Development for GraphyX Company, and they have a very interesting solution for dealers and carriers and master agents. And Kevin, good afternoon.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you. And just give us a couple of sentences on who is GraphyX.
Yeah, so GraphyX, we're a back office solutions company. We work across all carriers. We're housed here in New York City, but we also use some automation here and have an office in India in which we do a lot of the outsourcing of our solutions to all of our partners over the last 10 years.
All right, fantastic. Well, that's what we want to talk about today because it seems like more and more dealers are kind of looking at outsourcing as a means to, in some cases, reduce their costs, but certainly make their operations more efficient by getting access to expertise and resources that they currently don't have in-house, and quite frankly, would be very expensive for them to add. So tell us a little bit about how GraphyX addresses that trend.
Absolutely. So the expertise, again, we've been doing this for 10 years now. We do have a very large staff in India, along with some knowledgeable folks in wireless here in the United States as well. And what we've been able to do is cut down on the cost needed to perform all of these very tedious activities, as far as commission reconciliation, and providing data that allows the dealers to grow and to focus on sales, as opposed to hiring, training new expensive employees to come in and do all these activities for them, actually in their corporate office and facilities.
All right, fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, let's kind of dig into that a little bit more deeply here, and tell us a little bit about what's the scope of the problem that you're seeing dealers having to wrestle with that you guys can help them to address.
Yeah, so the big thing we're seeing, Mark, is a lot of dealers are, in the grand scheme of things, trying to collect the commission dollars that they are rightfully owed on the phones that they've sold. So this is a very tedious process. It takes a long amount of time. You're not getting a lot of the finalized commission files until a month later from when you've actually even sold the devices. So the problem being, it takes such a long time to actually research these phones and research these commission dollars. And then, of course, along with that is it's a very difficult process. And if you haven't been part of this industry and you haven't been along to watch the actual process change over the years, it's ever changing how to recoup these dollars and how to do all these commission reconciliations. It's very difficult. So what we've done over the last 10 years has been able to again, evolve with all the different carriers and keep up with the processes of how to do this at a cost that is very efficient to dealers.
All right. Well, fantastic. Let's dig into that just a little bit deeper here, because it also seems like reconciliation is a big part of this process, and I'm sure you guys have some other services that you'll tell us about as well. But why should a dealer utilize GraphyX for reconciling their commissions versus doing it in-house?
Yeah, so again, and our trend here is outsourcing, right? So what we're able to do, again, and I know it sounds like a reoccurring theme, but again, for a cost that is very efficient to the dealer, you're gaining a very, very knowledgeable, well-trained staff of 200 employees in India, again, a handful here, systems that we've developed to be able to recoup these commissions for you, all by just working with GraphyX, right? So, and again, you had mentioned something about other services. We do, of course, provide other services, but our commission reconciliation will actually pay, with your return, will actually pay for all of those services, and really basically equate to those being like just an add-on for for what we like to think of as free, right? So yeah, you're gaining a very knowledgeable very knowledgeable staff that's been doing this for a long time at a fraction of having the in-house costs.
All right. What are just very quickly a couple of the other services that you offer?
Yes, of course. I would say the biggest service we offer aside from this is inventory, right? So it's so scary these days. We're buying $1,000 phones for our postpaid dealers. Then, of course, our prepaid dealers are slightly different, but we're buying $1,000 phones and we're storing them in our warehouse, maybe it would be, or in our retail locations. And we have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of inventory, right? And what we're seeing is maybe you're not selling the oldest phone you have in inventory, or maybe you have inventory that's been in stock or in a warehouse for over 60 days. So tracking those inventory dollars is huge. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of phones. And like I always tell people, it's tough. Most people look at it and see a phone, see a box. I see a big stack of money sitting there. So inventory management's a huge one. Of course, your point of sale system. We make sure your point of sale system is set up correctly, most efficiently. If the inputs into the point of sale system are correct, we want to make sure the outputs are correct. I could input the correct data, could have my point of sale set up incorrectly. I'm going to get a poor output. So we monitor all those things as well.
All right, wonderful. Makes sense to me. Let's kind of take a look at some of the things that you've been doing with dealers and the types of returns that you're getting when a dealer makes the decision to say, okay, I'm not going to do this in-house anymore, I'm going to move over to you guys.
Sure. So the first thing I want to look at is we have a postpaid dealer. I took a perfect example of one we work with now. There are 10 locations. And for, like I had mentioned, every potential loss on a commission is anywhere these days from $800 to $1,000. So what we've found is there's about a 4% discrepancy, what we see between what the point of sale says and what the carrier is actually telling the dealer. So for 10 locations, we're looking at an average of maybe 7 to 10 devices per month where we're seeing a discrepancy, which of course is anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000. So for a dealer to pay us on an average about $300 per location of $3,000, we're looking at a return somewhere in the variety of anywhere from $2,600 to $7,000. With that being said, on average per year, we're looking at $93,600 in recovered commissions, and then we're going to take away, of course, the cost of GraphyX at about $36,000, for a return of about $57,600. So of course these numbers move a little bit, but it's never going to move $57,600. So regardless of the fact, you're making out on the plus end. And with that being said, those other services we talked about, point of sale management, inventory management, they're all part of this. So you're getting all of that return plus those other services for essentially, what we say is almost free.
All right, very good. Well, and this is an actual dealer that you profiled here, correct?
Absolutely, yes, it is.
All right, and then it also works on the prepaid side. If you go through the same math, now it looks like you're looking at a pretty significant return for this particular dealer. That's a GraphyX customer. And it looks like they're pulling in about $84,000 in incremental, and that's a profit number, correct?
Absolutely, Mark. So the big thing with prepaid is making sure that the money collected in the location is actually hitting the bank, right? So there's going to be a lot more cash exchanged. So in the grand scheme of things, we're seeing about $400 per location collected a day. And let's just say we miss one of those a month if there's some sort of issue where the money's not hitting the bank. By GraphyX coming in and monitoring that and making sure all the money's getting to where it's supposed to be, you could pay for that location's services, complete services, for an entire month by us just recouping one missed or one potential lost deposit, right? So that 84,000 number is the return on an annual basis. Again, it's going to move a little bit. We're using averages here, but prepaid, there's a huge opportunity there. The commissions aren't as large on prepaid devices, but the cash tracking is huge for us here at GraphyX.
All right, outstanding. Well, it sounds like you certainly have a lot of services that would be very worthwhile for a dealer to investigate. As you know, WiBOC's perspective is that every dealer should be talking to you and just investigating whether or not this is the right solution for them to deploy or not. And the best way to do that is to talk with one of your consultants or even yourself about how to roll that out. Would that be right, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. I'm always up and available to chat about this. We have a very large variety of solutions that we provide. We just obviously see a huge value in this reconciliation process, both prepaid and postpaid. But yeah, absolutely, we're always happy to talk and reach out to me. And if I can't answer a question, and I can certainly find someone who can. But yeah, I'm always the man to reach out to.
All right, that sounds good. Well, Kevin, we thank you very much for sharing your story and your way to recapture some lost profitability, which is so very important for our dealers today. And thank you for being part of the Future Wireless Project.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us, and we look forward to talking with everyone.
All right, take care now.
Thanks, Mark. Bye-bye.